Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great start to their week so far and is enjoying life, staying healthy and staying productive. Welcome Songhung, hi Nisa, hi Ashazi, welcome members Jainil. In this class, everyone, we are looking at IELTS speaking section, and we're specifically focusing on part 1. And of course, we're going for that off the mark band 9. Off the mark is an idiomatic expression which means from the start. Okay, so when runners start running, they're off the mark. They start from a line or a mark on the ground, and that's what we're going to do in our speaking today. While we wait for some more students to join up, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at IELTShelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of great content, videos, practice exams, courses that will really help you to bump up your score and get those higher bands so that you can be successful in your learning and in your work and immigration. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background. You can click this big red button to join the premium package. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center and certified agents. And it's the same idea for the academic. It's blue background. Click that big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Doesn't cost very much. We want to help a lot of students around the world. That's our goal. Udit Shrivastava, good luck on your speaking test tomorrow. You've joined the right class to give you some tips on how to maximize your scores. That's fantastic. All right, everyone. In your My Student account on the websites, you can practice your speaking for free. All you have to do is log in, and then you click on this Student Partner Speaking. And once you're in there, you will find other students, just like with Skype or WhatsApp. Right now, Mohal is in here. And you can just simply video or audio chat. So you just click on one of those and off you go to the races. All right. This Sunday we'll be premiering the next episode of my Band 9 IELTS journey. So a couple months ago I took the official IELTS exam. We filmed it. And in the last few weeks we have been releasing the episodes. Part 1 was registration, part 2 was preparation, and this Sunday we'll have the exam day, the actual day when I'm taking this exam. I filmed it, and you will see that there is a very interesting part in this video coming up on Sunday. So this is a little bit of a spoiler, but you'll actually see that when I go to my speaking exam, and this is the real test at British Council in Budapest, I go early, and I actually found another candidate who was waiting for their speaking exam, and I asked him to practice with me a little bit before the actual speaking interview, and he was very accommodating. He said, yeah, that's a great idea. I took some questions with myself, and then we sat down on a bench outside the building and we practiced for about 10-15 minutes asking questions from each other like the interviewer. It gave both of us confidence. It helped us to calm down. It got our English fluency going, and you're actually going to see that in this episode this Sunday. So you'll see that interview, or at least a piece of that interview. And that's a very powerful tip or skill or strategy, let's say, to increase your IELTS band scores. By the way, if anybody has questions for us, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Okay? Did everybody pick up that strategy that I just mentioned? Because that's a really important one, okay? So I'm going to write it up. I know a lot of our regular students know this, but you're actually going to get to see this strategy in the real world this Sunday when we release this third episode of my Band 9 IELTS journey, okay? So go to your IELTS speaking interview at least, I would say, 1 hour before your test. Take speaking questions with you on paper, 2 copies, one for you, one for the other guy or gal. Okay, so don't rely on your phone. Okay, you want them to actually have the piece of paper, just like in the real interview. Okay, so is everybody clear on that so far? Is everybody following me? I see a lot of chatter in the chat, but I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as me with this one, because it's an extremely important strategy. It can easily help you to get a half band, maybe even a full band more on your IELTS speaking interview. Okay, Udit says, yes, sir. Natalie says, sure. Yeah, so go to your IELTS speaking interview at least 1 hour before your test. Take speaking questions with you on paper. Okay, so not just on your phone. Print them out before your exam. Okay. Then find another candidate to practice with. All right. This will build your confidence and fluency. It is a very, very smart maneuver. All right. Charmin says, that's great. Okay, fantastic. All right, so you get to your speaking test 20 minutes before your interview starts. You have to go in and you have to register for your exam. At that point in time, they're going to take your picture. They're going to look at your identification. You're going to have to leave all of your non-essential belongings in a plastic bag because of COVID in a room. So you're going to have to leave your phone, your jacket. Basically, you walk in with your shirt, your pants, your skirt, your shoes on, and a pencil, and that's it. Oh, and your ID, okay? They'll ask you to take your ID with you, usually your passport, and that's it. You're not allowed to take your keys or anything else with you, basically. Just yourself, your clothes, your pen, pencil, and your passport, and that's it, all right? They want you focused, and they don't want you to be distracted or potentially cheating or anything like that, okay? So make sure that during the 20 minutes registration time, you're going to meet with some invigilators, so people who volunteer to help with the exam or work to help with the exam. Make sure you're speaking English with them, okay? It's very, very important, okay? All right? Sure, NC is asking, is it real that you don't gain points on the first part of your speaking? No, that's not true, okay? The examiner is marking you right away, okay? So every single word that you say once you meet your examiner will affect your mark. Okay, so when I did my speaking interview, I actually met the examiner outside of the interview room as we were going in, and already the examiner said, oh, good morning, and I said, oh, hey, good morning, and we entered the room kind of together. So even at that point, they're already listening to how you're saying good morning, your pronunciation, how natural you sound, okay? Okay, so it is false belief that the introduction does not affect your mark. And I've heard that before, so that was a good question. That was a good statement. I've heard that before from other students that they think that it doesn't have an effect on your mark. It absolutely does. I mean, both the speaking and the writing are subjective, so every single word that you say or use has an impact on your mark. Okay. Chinenye says, okay. And to make this more clear, it may be that the introduction does not officially count towards your mark. However, the examiner is assessing your ability from the very beginning. Okay, so it's very, very important to keep that in mind. Okay, so what you have to do, what's really, really important, is you have to use those first introductory, those icebreaker, warm-up questions strategically. What do you have to do with those? So what should you keep in mind to do when you hear these warm-up questions like, what's your name? May I see your identification? Where do you live? What should you keep in mind? Okay. Next, the cue card question is not repetitive. They'll come up with a new one every single time. Okay. So with the icebreaker questions, it's very, very important to keep this strategy in mind. What is it? Frederick says to show confidence. Yes. And how do you do that? Charmin says have a mental checklist. Charmin, the mental checklist is even before you go into your speaking. So remembering to reflect grammar, for instance. Yeah, Arda, very good. So Arda has the right answer. Arda says show off your fluency. Okay. So right away, you want to show the examiner that you're fluent. Okay, now that doesn't mean talk, but it means give full sentence answers. Okay, so you must remember to show fluency. Do not ramble. Ramble means talk. Okay. So don't ramble, but do give clear, complete, and professional responses. Okay, so we're going to practice that right now, how to do that. What is that right amount? So what is the amount where it's clear that you're being fluent, but you're not just speaking about anything and everything? Okay. So you get to your speaking interview. The examiner will ask you to take a seat. You say, thank you. When the examiner says, please sit down, say, yes, sure, thanks. Okay, so even respond to that. I've seen it where students, the examiner says, please take your seat, and they don't say anything. They just like quietly sit down. That, first of all, shows that the student is really nervous, or it seems that they're really nervous. And it's kind of awkward. In natural settings, at least like in a Canadian culture, for instance, if somebody says, please have a seat, usually the person responds. So they say, yeah, okay, thanks. So, or thank you very much, or it's good to meet you, or some kind of a response, okay? So don't just mutely sit down. It worries the examiner as well. All right, and then they will begin by saying, welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. I will give you instructions for each of the 3 parts. I'm recording this for marking and clerical purposes. The candidate number is 79512. And we are currently conducting this IELTS exam in Vancouver, Canada at 14 o'clock. Let's begin. And then you begin. Now, the examiner is going to be professional. They're going to be very focused, okay? Don't worry about the examiner's mood, all right? They should be serious and they should not be smiley. They should be concentrating. That's what they're told to do as examiners. That's what they're trained to do. So you just focus on yourself, all right? And then the examiner says, may I see your identification? And it's the same one that you use for the check-in. So may I see your identification? Give me a nice full sentence answer to this question. Fahim Redwan says, yeah, sure, here's my passport that I used to register for the exam. Please have a look. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Jasur says, definitely. Just let me flip to the page with my credentials. Here's my passport that I used to register. Please have a look. Yeah, very good, Jasur. And saying, give me a moment to flip to the page with the credentials is a good phrase, because sometimes, especially with passports, they're just awkward documents. They're very hard, especially if you don't use them often. And it's hard to get to the page where you have your picture. And if you're quiet, if you're like, yes, sure. And then you're like, here. It's kind of like, whoa, okay. Let's try to make that a little bit more smooth, right? A little bit more interactive. So it's a good phrase to use, all right? So I'm going to use that one today as well. So certainly, I like certainly a little bit more than yeah, sure. Certainly, please allow me a moment to flip to the page with my credentials. And of course, look at the nice vocabulary here right away. Flip to the page, credentials. You're picking up lexical marks. I don't care if somebody says, oh, that won't count for your mark. Yes, it does. They're listening for all of your vocabulary during that interview, okay? So please allow me a moment to flip to the page with my credentials. Okay, got it. When I find something, I often say, okay, got it. Here you are. Please take a look. Okay, so lots of nice natural ways to interact for this question. Okay. All right. So instead of like doing the awkward, here it is. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. All right. So repeat after me. May I see your identification? Certainly. Please allow me a moment to flip to the page with my credentials. Okay, got it. Here you are. Please take a look. Okay. All right. Now, when we're doing this class, students, make sure to speak and repeat. We're going to really get into some questions here. So speak and repeat. When you are practicing your speaking at home, in your classroom, with friends, with family, before your official interview, make sure to practice not just the answers, but questions as well. So say questions. Don't just always read them from a paper, but sometimes just ask questions naturally from your mind, okay? Why is that important, students? So when you are practicing at home in school for your speaking interview, it is very important to also practice asking questions and not just giving answers. Why? Why is that? So why would I make that suggestion that as you're getting ready for your exam, make sure to ask your partner questions like, where do you live? Or how did you get to this exam? Or where do you go to school? So why is it important to ask questions? Sammy says to get familiar with the questions. Absolutely, Sammy. And why is that important? So why do we want to be familiar with questions? What does that give us? Okay. What does that help us to do? Practicing questions. Well, hopefully you come up with this. In this way, you will gain confidence, and you will understand the communication from the perspective of the examiner. Okay, and that's very important, so that you are clear on the quality of the communication. Okay, so when you're practicing this, if you're the examiner and you say, "May I see your identification?" and somebody goes, "Yeah, sure," then you'll be like, "Okay, that was a bit awkward." So you'll actually feel that. So you'll realize that, okay, that's an awkward answer. I have to be a little bit more clear or more fluent or more professional when I answer this kind of a question. Like, yes, of course, here's my passport. This is what I used to register for the test. Please take a look. So you realize that, okay, that's saying like, yeah, sure, here it is. It's kind of awkward, okay? So ask those questions. All right, let's get it. Let's really get into it now. So the next question that they will ask, and this is going to happen likely while you're still holding your passport, they're going to say, "What is your full name?" Okay, and again, when you ask this question in practice, if somebody says, "My name is Thomas Jefferson," then you're going to kind of be like, "Okay, sure." So Fahim says, "My full name is Fahim Redwan. Please call me by my first name, Fahim." That's a nice introduction, Fahim. Bakrat says, "My given name is Bakrat and my family name is Sharma. Please just call me by my first name, as you can see in my ID." Okay, very good, Bakrat. So you're referring to your ID. Good. Sammy says, "My full name is Siva Sankar and my surname is Pulivarthi. Please call me by my nickname, Sammy." That's what my friends and family call me, and I'm comfortable with it. Very nice, Sammy. Make sure you say that fluently. It's a long answer, but it's a good answer as long as it's fluent. Okay? So my given names are Sandra, I probably wouldn't give that name. Sandra, Louisa, McKinley, just coming up with it. Please call me, Louisa, and my family name is McKinley. Please call me by my nickname, Sandy, if you don't mind. Okay. All right. So here's an example. Again, be fluent, be interactive. I know that if I meet somebody in an interview and we're going to have a 15-minute discussion, 15-minute discussion, I want to introduce myself clearly, and I want them to call me by the name that I'm comfortable with, that I'm used to. So here we go. Repeat after me. What is your full name? My given names are Sandra Louisa, and my family name is McKinley. Please call me by my nickname, Sandy, if you don't mind. And in this case, the examiner would probably say, "Oh, no, I don't mind, Sandy." Okay, Sandy, now I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better, and then I'll ask you some questions on a general topic. Where do you live? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Where do you live? Now, again, when this question comes up, where do you live? If you think clearly about it, you realize that you can answer this question in several different ways. And you can answer it by giving your residence the country, the city, the locality, the province or state. Also, you can give information about your inhabitants, so your shelter, your house, your apartment, your condo. Okay, so what type of dwelling you live in. And you can either go from macro to micro, so country to dwelling, or you can go from micro to macro. So you can say I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in the state of California, in the US. Okay, so you can go from micro to macro, macro to micro. It's good to have structure. Okay. All right, Divya says, I live in the heart of Delhi near Nehru Stadium in a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, so Divya, include your dwelling. It's really a good idea. The more visual information that you provide, the clearer your communication. Visual information is very, very powerful in communication because humans are primarily visual creatures, okay? We see the world around us. That is our main sensory input among our senses, okay? Charmin says, I reside in a 2-bedroom apartment with my parents on the 4th floor of a high-rise building, which is located in the area of Mohammadpur in the central Dhaka division. That is a beautiful answer, Charmin. Very visual. I can literally see you in your apartment on the 4th floor. Okay, so visual information is extremely powerful. Zaravan says, I reside in a single-bedroom apartment on the 6th floor of a 7-story building in Duhok City, which is located in the northern part of Iraq, and I have been living there for about 15 years. Not 15 years ago, Zaravan, just 15 years. Okay, it's very good. Again, just like Charmin, extremely detailed and visual. Make sure you say that nice and fluently. Okay, all right. Jai Neal says, I reside in a 2-bedroom condo on the 3rd floor of a building which is in the heart of Surat, Gujarat. I have been living with my family there for 20 years. Jai Neal, very good. I put in a couple of small nuances to make it more natural, like I have been living there with my family instead of I have been living with my family for 20 years, okay? There means the location, right? So it's good to add in that nuance. All right. Deepika says, I live in Karaikal, which is a town in the Union Territory of Pondicherry, India. My house is a 4-bedroom home. It's an independent house in a private community called Green Gardens. Very nice, Deepika. That's beautiful description. That's the best description, Deepika, that I've seen from you so far. Mahi says, I have been living in Amritsar, which is situated in the northern part of India, along with my extended family in a large 6-bedroom detached home. Okay, so Mahi, I would finish that sentence, all right? Akshay says, currently I'm living in Surat, which is located in the southern part of Gujarat and the eastern part of India, okay? And also your dwelling, Akshay, so apartment or condo, so be specific, all right? Okay, so where do you live? I live in a 3-bedroom, so I'm going from micro to macro, okay? So small to big. I live in a 3-bedroom townhome in the heart of Victoria, British Columbia, which is one of the most western cities in Canada. I have been living here for more than 30 years. All right. So here we go. Repeat after me. Where do you live? I live in a 3-bedroom townhome in the heart of Victoria, British Columbia, which is one of the most western cities in Canada. I have been living here for more than 30 years. Okay, so again, you want to give clear visual information. All right, I'm going to add this to the notes. You can review these notes at the end of the class again, right? So for clear communication, you must use visual language, such as quantification, meaning numbers. Okay, and that means like I live in a 3-bedroom condo. Okay, so that's countable. People can see the 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, maybe kitchen, living room, so they can visualize it. Okay, numbers really help to visualize. I keep emphasizing quantitative language, so descriptive quantitative language. All right. Okay, so the next question: what is your favorite food? So again, these warm-up questions, they'll kind of just come up with any random popular question, kind of like your questions in your first English classes that you get, like what are your hobbies? What is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? In this case, what is your favorite food? So give an answer, explanation, and an example. Fahim, just one time. If I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, I don't. But if you spam, I have to time you out. So just one time, okay, Fahim? So Fahim Red One says, pizza is my favorite food because it tastes and smells fabulous. The pizza itself looks so yummy, crispy, and cheesy. I had a pepperoni pizza just last Saturday with a movie. It was really good. Okay, Fahim, enter in an example. Okay, why? Because examples are very visual as well. So if I can see you, Fahim, eating that pepperoni pizza and being like, this is great, then you're going to get more marks because it's clear communication. Okay. Examples really seem to be missing from many candidates' interview. Okay, you have to work on those examples. Shahan Pereira says, my favorite is rice and curry, which is one of the most delicious and popular foods in Sri Lanka. There's quite a variety of different flavors, so it never gets old. This week I had 3 different types of rice and curry. Okay, so again, finish with that example. And my mouth is starting to water with all the delicious foods that I see going up there. Learn English says, the food which I like the most is padoda bread with tea, as it has a very good taste. I like to eat it at least once a week at a local restaurant. Okay. Kunal Singh says, well, I'm kind of a foodie person. I love various types of foods, but my all-time favorite is Italian, such as pizza and pasta. Kunal, focus on only one. So not what's your favorite cuisine, like Italian, French, Indian, or other, but food. One dish. Okay. Now, pizza seems to be a really popular answer. Curry seems to be a really popular answer. So careful with popular answers. In the beginning, it's okay for these warm-up questions, but you do want to sound original. So keep that in mind, okay? Yang Quinn Yuen says, my favorite food is Dalat's pizza. It's a kind of rice cake with eggs fried on top. It also has sausage, cheese, and onion on it. People should come to Dalat to taste it because it's delicious. Okay, Dan, good. Try to avoid saying you. It's a dangerous, slippery slope. When you start talking to your examiner like you, it's easy to lose the quality of communication. So don't say you, okay? So what is your favorite food? Yeah, I love pizza. And I eat it every chance I get. The combination of pizza dough with cheese, onions, sausage, and mushrooms is so delicious and fragrant. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. In fact, I had a mushroom and sausage pizza just the other night with the movie, and it was so yummy. Okay. It's okay to answer these warm-up questions in this kind of really natural way. The IELTS examiner is testing how natural your English sounds. So here's some nice natural language with you. Just repeat, or for you, sorry. Just repeat after me. So what is your favorite food? I love pizza and I eat it every chance I get. The combination of pizza dough with cheese, onion, sausage, and mushrooms is so delicious and fragrant. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. In fact, I had a mushroom and sausage pizza just the other night with a movie, and it was so yummy. Okay. All right. Yeah, very common expression. Okay. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Right? Keep that expression in mind. Whenever you see new expressions, idiomatic language in this class, write it down and use it so that you remember it. Okay? All right, so let's go to the questions then. The examiner will say, all right, now I'll ask you some more questions on a specific topic. How many hours do you sleep in a day? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. How many hours do you sleep in a day? Whenever you're thinking about your answer, make sure to think about answer plus explanation plus example. Okay? As long as you keep that routine going, you're going to do well. You're going to be off to a band 9 start. All right. Fahim says, usually I sleep for 7 to 8 hours every day in order to let my body recharge. But if I want to do something very important at night, I may sleep for less than 4 hours. Okay, Fahim, that's a little bit off topic. So don't say I usually sleep 7 to 8 hours and then suddenly say, well, on the rare occasion, I only sleep 4 hours. That starts to get confusing. So don't tell all. Just tell one, be specific and clear. Okay? Shinju says, I usually sleep for 7 to 8 hours a day. Why? Okay? Give me an explanation for that. Patel, Viral says, I sleep at least 8 hours a day as it makes me feel rejuvenated, as this is enough for me to be rejuvenated. Patel, okay? As this is enough for me to be rejuvenated, okay? Or to get a full charge for the day. All right. Let's see some more. So, Proud Nerd says, well, I consider myself a sleep lover as I really don't mind sleeping for more than 12 hours a day. However, I'm imposed to leave my bed with only 7 hours of sleep to go to work. All right, it's a little bit awkward. So you can say, I love to sleep. Any chance I get, I'll sleep for half the day. But I usually only get 7 hours because I have to go to work and I have to do my responsibilities. Okay? All right. Arcana says, life has changed completely in this era of technology because I sleep 4 to 5 hours in a day because of leading a very hectic life, and time is of the utmost importance. Arcana, that's a bit confusing. So you need to say that clearer, okay? So my life, don't talk about people in general. My life is quite hectic. So unfortunately, I only get about 4 to 5 hours of sleep each day. This is in large part because of technology. I have to answer emails early in the morning and I have to deal with clients late at night. Okay? So Arcana, give a clear answer to that. All right? On most days, I get at least 7 hours of sleep, as this is the right amount for me to feel energized throughout the day. If I don't sleep at least 7 hours, I really feel grumpy. For this exam, I got a good 8 hours of sleep last night, so that my wits are sharp and I'm focused. Okay. So here we go. Repeat after me. How many hours do you sleep in a day? On most days, I get at least 7 hours of sleep, as this is the right amount for me to feel energized throughout the day. If I don't sleep at least 7 hours, I really feel grumpy. For this exam, I got a good 8 hours of sleep last night so that my wits are sharp and I'm focused. All right? Confident. Next question. Where do you like to sleep? Okay. Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So, where do you like to sleep? Location. IELTS interview, they like to ask the W questions like what, when, where, why, how. So, be ready for that. Where do you like to sleep? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Okay. Arta says, that's going to be a usual answer. I like to sleep in my bed. It's very big because it's designed for 2 people, so I can sleep in comfort. It's also soft, and it doesn't hurt my back. Okay, Arta, good. Don't say, but I like to sleep. Just say, as I like to sleep. Okay, usual answer, as I like to sleep. It's not a contradiction. All right. Wits, Janelle, means you're smart, so you're clever. Okay, wits is clever. Let's see. Kunal says, usually I always sleep in my own bed because it is the most comfortable place for me and I need to be relaxed. So I sleep in my bed. Yeah, Kunal, and this is a tricky one because you sleep in your bed, not on your bed. Okay. Like most people, I really enjoy sleeping in my own bed, as it is very comfortable and familiar. So I get a good night's rest. In fact, I don't much enjoy sleeping anywhere else, even in a bed in a hotel room. Okay? All right. Yeah, I think one point people kind of forget about their own bed is we really like it because it's familiar. So even a comfortable big bed in a hotel sometimes just doesn't provide that rest because it's foreign. It's not ours. It's not familiar, right? So here we go. Repeat after me. Where do you like to sleep? Like most people, I really enjoy sleeping in my own bed as it is very comfortable and familiar. So I get a good night's rest. In fact, I don't much enjoy sleeping anywhere else, even in a bed in a hotel room. Okay? So clear, fluent, complete answers. Don't just say in my bed. Okay? And notice how it's in my bed. It's not on my bed. The reason you sleep in your bed is because when you lay on your bed, you kind of just sink in and you actually put your blanket on. So you're kind of in your bed, if you will, under your blanket. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at this last question. So I'm going to skip a few questions here, and I want to jump to this last one because I have one more very important point to make in this lesson. So here's the last question. Have you ever had difficulty sleeping? If yes, why? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So have you ever had difficulty sleeping? If yes, why? All right. Give me a nice full sentence answer. Have you ever had difficulty sleeping? If yes, why? Jahaja says, yes, sir. I'm not sure if that means you've had difficulty sleeping or if you're agreeing with something that I've said. Make sure to give a full sentence response here. Okay? All right? Proud Nurse says, indeed, yes, especially the past few years as I'm having insomnia and also suffering overthinking. All right, Proud Nerd, good answer, but you're missing something important. What are you missing, Proud Nerd? You're missing something very important in your answer. Patel Varal says, yes, I've experienced difficulty sleeping when my exam is near. Okay, Patel, great. So you've remembered to include the present perfect. Now you're missing the explanation and an example. And it's a very easy example, Patel, because you could just say, like last night, it was really tough for me to go to sleep because I was very anxious about this speaking interview this morning. Okay. Kunal Singh says, yes, sometimes I have some difficulty sleeping because sometimes my mind is up to something by which my mind gets a little stressed and overthinks something. Kunal, very confusing answer. My mind is up to something. It overthinks something. What are you overthinking? What is it? So my responsibilities, failures, successes, the next day's tasks. So you have to be a little bit clearer there, okay? Henry Johnson Jr. says, if I've been to my relative's house, I would find it difficult to sleep because it's unfamiliar for me. I hardly sleep the first day. After that, I find that it gets a bit better. Okay, Henry, not bad. So you used the previous question, which is good. Okay. Kuldeep Singh says, certainly I do have some sort of difficulty during sleeping as I am very fond of watching adventurous and action movies. So I obviously suffer from nightmares, which I discover reducing my sleep. Okay, Kuldeep, there's some awkward language in there. You need to correct that, and you have some awkward grammatical structures as well. All right. Arda says, yes, I have had difficulty sleeping. When I was preparing for my final exams, I was nervous to death. And when I hit the bed, I had anxious sleep. I have had anxious sleep about 2 years ago. All right, Arda, not bad. The end of it's a little bit off, but overall very good. So here, the big tip is reflect the present perfect, okay? So you must reflect the grammar of the question. In this case, present perfect. Okay, the examiner is looking for that. So yes, I have had trouble sleeping in the past. This has happened to me when I'm anxious about the next day's events, such as final exams in school or asking a girl out on a date. In fact, it took me a while to get to sleep last night, knowing that I had this exam coming up in the morning. Okay. All right. So here we go. Have you ever had difficulty sleeping? If yes, why? Yes, I have had trouble sleeping in the past. This has happened to me when I'm anxious about the next day's events, such as final exams in school or asking a girl out on a date. In fact, it took me a while to get to sleep last night, knowing that I had this exam coming up in the morning. Okay, so notice how here have had and has happened it reflects the have you ever had, okay? And that kind of reflective grammar will get you more band scores on your speaking interview. Okay, so I've given you lots and lots of tips. You've done some good practice throughout this class. Now take this information and keep practicing it. Okay, practice makes perfect. I can talk to you all day long, but at the end of the day, you need to practice. Okay, you need to practice what I've shown you, and you need to implement it in your everyday communication. Improving communication, whether it's in English or in another language, is a lifelong learning skill. We keep doing it, okay? Never be 100% satisfied with your communication. Always find ways to learn and improve communication, because that leads to a successful and happy life. And IELTS is a great way to start that actively in your everyday learning. So keep it up. Remember, you can practice your speaking for free on our websites. And this week, students, tomorrow I will host a reading class for members, and we'll do a speaking part 2 for everyone. And then on Friday, we'll do task 1 for members and speaking part 3 for everyone. This week only, no class on Saturday, so I'm taking an extra day off. Keep that in mind. And then, of course, Wednesday, I'm back as usual. So hopefully tomorrow I'll see everybody for the reading and the speaking part 2 cue card. Okay, I think everybody's done a fantastic job. Aditya, Sammy, Janil, Mal, and Arda, thank you, members, Rashika, for your support. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now. I will be back tomorrow. Again, check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.